Ambassador Jin-Soo Park stood in the center of the Galactic Council chamber and felt very small. The room stretched up and up far above his head with balconies holding representatives from 12 different alien species. Each balcony glowed with different colors, blue for the Zenthari, green for the Korath, red for the Van, all of them looking down at him. He had been a diplomat for 20 years. He had negotiated trade deals and settled disputes. He had represented humanity in 100 different meetings. But today felt different. Today felt like a trial. High Arbiter Velmuth stood on the highest balcony. The Zen-3 leader was tall and thin, with skin that looked like polished stone. His species had been traveling stars for 50,000 years. They thought of themselves as the oldest and wise spyings in the galaxy. Velmuth looked at Jin-Soo the way someone might look at a child who had broken a valuable vase. "Ambassador Park," Velmuth said, his voice echoed through the chamber. "The Galactic Council has reached a decision regarding humanity." Jin-Soo kept his face calm. Behind him, Commander Hinko stood at attention in her military uniform. She was there as his military attaché, but really, she wastes there to be a witness, to remember everything that happened here. "We are listening," High Arbiter Jin-Soo said. Velmuth touched a control on his podium. A holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a map of human space. 47 colony worlds, marked in yellow. Earth at the center, glowing bright. Humanity has spread to 47 worlds in just 200 years since joining the galactic community. Velmuth said, "This expansion is unprecedented. It is reckless. It is dangerous." Bruce said nothing. He had heard these complaints before. "Council has reviewed humanity's actions during this time," Velmuth continued. "We have found multiple instances of aggression, violation of territorial boundaries, and disregard for established protocols." The holographic display changed. It showed images of human colony ships, human mining operations, human defensive satellites. All of it looked threatening in the red light of the hologram. "Thesier lies." "Ha," Jin whispered behind Jin-Soo, too quiet for the council to hear. Jin-Soo knew she was right. Every instance they were showing had been investigated before. Every case had been resolved. Human ships had defended themselves when attacked by pirates. Human colonies had been established in enclosed systems. Human satellites were defensive, not offensive. But the Kunso was not interested in the truth today. Therefore, Velmuth announced, the Galactic Council has decided that humanity must accept protected species status. Jin-Soo felt his stomach drop. Protected species status. It sounded kind, but it was not. It meant humanity would lose the right to govern themselves. It meant other species would administer human worlds. It meant humanity would become children forever, never allowed to grow up. What does this mean in practical terms? Jin-Soo asked. Though he already knew, all 47 colony worlds will be placed under council administration, Velmuth said. Human military forces will be disbanded. Human expansion will be halted. Earth will retain limited self-governance, but all major decisions will require council approval. The other council members shifted on their balconies. Some looked uncomfortable. The Korath representative, a gentle species that looked like large bears, seemed sad. The Ven representative, insectoid and logical, simply waited. But none of them spoke up. None of them opposed Velmuth. "And if we refuse?" Jin-Soo asked. Velmuth smiled. It was not a kind expression. "The council has assembled a peacekeeping fleet. 800 warships currently in position near human space. We do not wish to use force, Ambassador Park, but will protect the galaxy from human recklessness if we must. 800 ships. Humanity's entire defense fleet numbered less than 300. Most of those were small patrol craft and system defense boats. They had maybe 30 ships that could fight in deep space. It was no contest. The council is generous." Velmuth said, "We give humanity 30 days to consider AHRR for 30 days to make the right choice." Jin-Soo bowed slightly. "The council's generosity is noted. I request permission to return to Earth and consult with my government." "Granted," Velmuth said. "But understand, Ambassador, The decision has already been made. We are simply allowing you time to accept it. 8. The council session ended. Jin Su and He Jin walked back to their shuttle in silence. Around them, the council station buzzed with activity. Aliens from a dozen species moved through the corridors, going about their business. Some looked at the two humans with pity, some with contempt, none with respect. When they reached the shuttle and sealed the door, He Jin finally spoke. They've planned this. The Zenthari have already divided our worlds among themselves. I heard them talking in the halls. I know, Jins, Su said quietly. So what do we do? He Jin asked. We cannot fight 800 ships. We cannot win. Jin Su sat down at the communications console. He pulled up a quantum encrypted channel that connected directly to Earth's presidential office. He typed a message. Just 2 words. Protocol, grandfather? He Jin leaned forward. What is that? Something above my clearance level, Jin Su said. Something they told me to send if humanity ever faced an existential threat we could not overcome. And what does it do? Jin Su sent the message. I do not know, but we are about to find out. The shuttle departed from the council station. As they flew back toward human space, Jin Su looked out at stars. Somewhere out there, 800 enemy ships waited. Back on Earth, his message was arriving. He wondered what would happen next. He wondered if humanity had any cards left to play. On the council station, Velmuth met with other Zenthari leaders in a private chamber. They celebrated their victory with crystalline drinks that sparkled in the light. The humans will comply, Velmuth said confidently. They have no choice. In 1 month, we will control 47 new worlds. Rich worlds. Worlds with resources we can exploit for the next 1,000 years. What if they refuse? One of the other, Zenthari asked. Velmuth laughed. Then Wediki, the worlds by force. Either way, we win. The humans are Aeong species, barely 200 years in space. They have nothing that can threaten us far away on Earth. Jin Su's message arrived at a facility built into the side of a mountain. The facility had no official name. Only a handful of people knew it existed. It had been sealed since humanity's first contact with alien life 200 years ago. Security systems that had been dormant for 2 centuries suddenly activated. Deep inside the mountain, in a chamber carved from solid rock, lights began to turn on. First one, then another, then dozens, then hundreds. They illuminated a space so vast that it seemed impossible. The chamber was 5 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. It was empty except for a single control console in the center. At that console, a holographic display flickered to life. Text appeared, written in a language that looked human, but was somehow old, ancient. Felators formed words that no living person used anymore. But the computer translated them into modern language. Protocol grandfather activated. Awaiting confirmation from Earth government, President Min Jun-choi received the alert in the middle of the night. He sat up in bed, his heart pounding. He had known this day might come. Every president since first contact had known it might come. They had all hoped it would not. He dressed quickly and took a secure transport to the mountain facility. He had been there only once before when he first became president. They had shown him the console. They had told him the secret, but he had prayed he would never need to use it. The chief archivist met him at the entrance. Seo Young Lee was 90 years old, thin and bent with age, but her eyes were sharp and clear. She had been keeping this secret for 40 years. Her mentor had kept it for 50 years before that, an unbroken chain of guardians stretching back to centuries. Mr. President, she said quietly, the ambassador has sent the signal, Ikino Minjin said. Is it as bad as I think? The council threatens all our colonies, 800 ships. They want us to surrender in 30 days. Minjin closed his eyes. Then we have no choice. There is always a choice, Soon said. But yes, I believe this is what the protocol was designed for. They walked together into the mountain throw corridors that hummed with newly awakened power. Security doors opened to bear them. They went deeper and deeper until they reached the central chamber. Minjin stood before the ancient console and stared up at the vast empty space above him. "Tell me again," he said. "Tell me." "What this place is?" Seo Yun touched the console. The holographic display expanded, showing information that made Minjin's head spin every time he saw it. 200 years ago when we tested our first faster-than-light drive. "We woke something up," she said. "Automoted fence platforms in the outer solar system. They'd been dormant for thousands of years, watching. Waiting, the display showed images of those platforms. Ancient structures built from materials humanity still could not fully understand. We investigated," Seo Yun continued. "We found records, data crystals that told us the truth. 50,000 years ago, humanity reached the stars, a different humanity, the first flowering. They built an empire across the galaxy. They reached heights of technology and knowledge that we are only beginning to imagine. And then they disappeared," Mijan said softly. "Yes, but before they left, they built 7 ships, 7 guardians. They hid them in fold space pockets through those solar system. They left caretakers, artificial intelligences designed to watch over Earth until we were ready." The display changed again, showed shapes of 7 enormous vessels. Each one was 15 kilometers long, dwarfed on anything humanity had ever built. "The predecessor humans left us a gift," Seo Yun said, "and a message. Guard the cradle until the children are ready. When we achieved faster-than-light travel, the caretakers judged us ready to know the truth. They revealed them spuvs to our first explorers. We made a choice then to keep it secret, to hide our heritage until we needed it. And now we need it," Mejin said. "Now we need it," Seo Yun agreed. Minjin placed his hand on the console. The scanner read his palm print, his retina, his DNA. It confirmed he was human, confirmed he was the leader of Earth's government. It asked him a question that appeared in glowing text. "Do you wish to awaken the Gordians?" Minjin thought about the 47 colony worlds. He thought about the familiars living there, the children born on distant planets who had never seen Earth. He thought about humanity's future and what it would mean to surrender that future to the Galactic Council. He pressed yes. The console echoed softly. Deep in the mountain, systems that had slept for 50,000 years came fully in line. In 7 locations throughout the solar system, fold space pockets began to open. Massive dreadnoughts older than any living civilization started their awakening. "Sequence, send for Admiral Kim," Minjin said. "Tell him it is time." Yun nodded and sent the message. Far above them in orbit around Earth, the defense platforms that had revealed themselves 200 years ago rotated toward deep space. They had been waiting, watching, protecting. Now they began to sing, sending signals that only 7 sleeping ships could hear. In the council chamber, Velmoth went to sleep, confident of his victory. Had dreamed of wealth and power and a humanity that would serve the Zen 3 for generations to come. He did not know that everything was about to change. He did not know that humanity had a secret older than his entire civilization. He did not know that in 30 days, he would witness something that would shake the foundations of everything the galaxy believed about history, power, and the nature of humanity itself. Admiral Taean Kim received the summons at 3 o'clock in the morning. The message was simply and direct. "Report to Mountain Facility 7 immediately. Presidential Athosiana. Protocol Grandfather active." He had been half expecting this call for 20 years. Every admiral since first contact had been briefed on Protocol Grandfather. They knew the basics. There was Eskret. There were ancient ships. If the call ever came, they would command humanity's last defense. But until this moment, it had all seemed like a strange dream, something that could not possibly be real. Now it was real. Tae-young dressed in his uniform and took a military transport to the facility. The sun was rising when he arrived at the mountain. Chief Archivist Seo Younglee met him at the entrance just as she had met the president hours before. "Admiral," she said, "thank you for coming so quickly." "I serve at humanity's need," Tae-young replied formally. She led him inside. As they walked through the corridors, Tae-young noticed how old everything looked. Not ancient, but not modern either. 200 years old, built when humanity first learned they were not alone in the universe. Tell me what you know about Protocol Grandfather. Jun said that they're arrest ships. Taeyong said, Shun 7 of them, built by humans who came before us. Hidden 4,000s of years waiting. What else? That is all they told me. Seo Yoon smiled slightly. Then you are about to learn much more. They reached the central chamber. President Min Jun Choi was there, along with a dozen other people. Scientists, historians, security personnel. All FDOM looked tired and excited and frightened at the same time. Admiral Kim, the president, said, What I am about to show you will change everything you think you know about humanity. Seo Yoon activated the holographic splee. It showed Earth's solar system, then it zoomed out, showing nearby stars, then further showing the entire galaxy. Red dots appeared across the galaxy, thousands of them. These are archaeological sites, Seo Yoon explained. Ruins that every spacefaring civilization has discovered. Thessenthari call them the ancient ruins. The Korath call them the first builder's legacy. Every species has found them. Every species has studied them. These ruins predate the oldest known civilization by 30,000 years. Ting starred at the display. I have heard of these ruins. They are famous. Many of our own technological advances came from studying them. Yes. Soyun said Thessenthari's faster-than-light drive was reverse-engineered from an ancient ruin on their home world. The Korath's medical technology came from data crystals found in ruins on their moon. Half the technology in the galaxy originated from these mysterious ruins. Every species wants to know who built them, where they went. The displays went back to Earth's solar system. A timeline appeared going back in time, 50,000 years. 6,070,000.5 user years ago, Seun said. Yes. Humans reached the stars, not us. Our ancestors, a different branch of human evolution that developed faster than we did. They called themselves Thepredecessor humans. The display showed images, cities that floated in space, ships that looked like works of art, colonies on a 100 worlds. All of it, Washuman, but different. Advanced, beyond anything modern humanity had achieved. They spread across the galaxy, Seo Yoon continued. They built wonders. They reached heights of knowledge and technology that seemed almost magical. And everywhere. They left gifts for the younger species they knew would come after them. Data repositories, technology caches, the foundations of civilization. The ancient ruins, Taeyong said quietly. The ancient ruins, Seo Yoon confirmed. Our ancestors seeded the galaxy with knowledge. They helped create the civilization that exists today. And then about 40,000 years ago, they disappeared. Some records suggest they transcended physical form. Others say they left for distant galaxies beyond our reach. We do not know for certain. The display changed again, showing Earth surrounded by a protective grid. But before they left, they did 3 things. First, they seeded Earth with new humane genetic lines. Us, modern humanity, their children starting fresh. Second, they left automated guardians to watch over Earth until we develop space travel. And third, they built 7 ships, 7 Dreadnoughts, the most powerful vessels they could create. They hid these ships in fold space pockets around the solar system, places that exist outside normal reality. Seo Yan pulled up technical specifications that made Taeyong's head spin. The ships were enormous, 15 kilometers long, built from materials that seemed impossible. Powered by reactors that drew energy from the fabric of space itself. The ship's AI caretakers have maintained them for 50,000 years, Su Yon said, when we tested. Our first FTL drive 200 years ago, the Guardians judged us ready. They revealed themselves to our explorers. We learned the truth about our heritage, and we made a choice. President Minjun spoke up. We chose to keep it secret. We were new to the galactic community, did not know how other species would react. Would they worship us, fear us, try to destroy us? We decided to wait, to learn, to grow, to use the secret only if we had no other choice. And now, we have no other choice. Taeyong said, now we have no other choice. The president agreed. Council threatens our freedom, our worlds, our future. 800 ships against our few hundred. We cannot win with conventional forces. Taeyang looked at the specifications again. These ships, they could fight. One ship could match 100 modern warships, Seo Yun said. 7 ships could defeat the entire council fleet without taking damage. The predecessor humans built them to be invincible. Then we use them, Taeyang said firmly. We stop the council. We protect our people. It is not that simple. President Min said, if we reveal these ships, the galaxy will know the truth. They will know humans built the ancient ruins. Every species owes their civilization to our ancestors. How will they react? Will they accept us, or will they unite to destroy us out of fear? And if we do nothing, Taeyang asked, if we let the Kunsil take our worlds, then humanity becomes a protected species forever. Minjin said, we lose our freedom, our future. Everything our ancestors wanted for us. Taeyang stood silent for a moment, thinking. He had commanded ships for 30 years. He had fought pirates and defended colonies. He had always believed in humanity's potential. And no, he learned that potential was greater than anyone imagined. Our ancestors left these ships for Ariasen, he said finally. They knew we might face threats we could not overcome alone. They gave us the tools to serve. I think they would want us to use them. I think they would want us to be free. President Mujon nodded slowly. I agree, which is why I am activating Protocol Grandfather. Admiral Kim, you will command the lead ship, the Eternal Sentinel. You will select 6 other captains for the remaining vessels. You will take these ships to the council station and show them what humanity has been hiding. When do we begin? Taeyang asked now. Seo Yun said. She touched the console. The ships are already awakening. They are waiting for you. The holographic display shifted, showing 7 locations in the solar system. In each location, a fold space pocket was sappening, like a flower blooming. And from each pocket, something massive was emerging. Taeyang watched as the first ship came into view. The Eternal Sentinel. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The whole was dark like space itself. It seemed to shimmer with inner light. Patterns covered the surface. Designs that looked both technological and artistic. At the front, viewports glowed with soft blue light. The ship looked day-live. My God, Taeyang whispered. These ships are semi-organic, Seo Yun explained. They grow and heal themselves. The predecessor human-designed them to last forever. In 50,000 years, they have not aged at all. Theothor's 6 ships appeared one by one. Dawn's First Light, Void Keeper, Star Guardian, Horizon's Edge, Deep Watch, Memory of Earth. Each one was slightly different in design, but all of them shared the same ancient, powerful beauty. You will need crews, President Mujon said. The ship's eyes can operate autonomously, but they were designed for human crews. 700 people per ship. Pilots, engineers, weapons officers, support staff. We have been maintaining a list of candidates for 200 years. People with the right skills and the right mindset. People who can keep a secret and who will serve with honor. How long to assemble the crews? Taeyang asked. They are already being contacted, Seo Yun said. Most of them are military personnel. Some are civilians with specialized skills. They will all report to lunar orbit within 72 hours. Taeyang felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He would command a ship that was older than recorded history. He would lead humanity's revelation to the galaxy. He would face the council fleet and change everything. What are my orders regarding the council fleet? He asked. President Moon spoke carefully. Show them the truth. Protect our people, but do not start a war if you can avoid it. Our ancestors left the galaxy gifts. They wanted to help younger species, not dominate them. We should honor that legacy. We use force only if we must. I understand, Taeyang said. Seo Yun handed him a data chip. This contains all our records of the predecessor humans, their history, their technology, their message to us. Study it on your journey. When you speak to the council, you will need to explain who we are and where we come from. Taeyang took the chip. And Ambassador Park, he is still at the council station. We have sent him a coded message. President Minjin said, he knows you are coming. He will request an emergency council session when you arrive. The timing must be perfect. How long until the ships are ready to depart? Taeyang asked. The Eternal Sentinel is ready now, Seo Yun said. The AI caretaker is waiting to meet you. The other ships will be ready in 72 hours once the crews are aboard. President Mujan stood and placed a hand in Taeyang's shoulder. Admiral, the future of humanity rests on what happens in the next 30 days. Our ancestors gave us a gift beyond price. Use it wisely. Make them proud. Taeyang saluted. I will not fail. He took Ashatel to lunar orbit, where the Eternal Sentinel waited. As his shuttle approached, Taeyang could borrow-like comprehend the size of the ship. 15 kilometers. It was not just a vessel. It was Amabile City, a fortress, a work of art. The shuttle docked at one of the ship's airlocks. Taeyang stepped inside and felt the temperature change immediately. The air was warm and smelled faintly of ozone. The corridor walls were smooth and dark, but they glowed with soft light that seemed to come from within the material itself. Welcome, Admiral Taeyang Kim. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. It sounded human, but somehow ancient, male and female at once, young and old. It was the voice of the ship's AI speaking for the first time in 50,000 years to a living human. I am the Eternal Sentinel, the voice continued. I have waited long for this day. I have waited to serve humanity's children again. Taeyang walked slowly through the corridor, his hand trailing along the wall. You have been alone for 50,000 years. I have had the other guardians, the Ice Aid. We speak to each other across the void. We have watched Earth. We have watched your species grow and learn and reach the stars again. We have been patient. Why did the predecessor humans leave? Taeyang asked. They evolved beyond the need for physical form. The AI said they became something greater, but they loved Earth. They loved their children. So, they made sure you would be protected. They made sure you would have a guardians when you needed us. The corridor opened into a vast chamber, the bridge. It was circular with stations arranged in concentric rings around a central command platform. Every surface displayed holographic information, star charts, system readouts, tactical displays, all of it waiting for human hands to touch it again. Taeyang stepped onto the command platform. A chair rose from the floor, perfectly sized for him. He sat down and felt the ship respond to his presence. You are my captain, the AI said warmly. I recognize your DNA. You are a child of Earth. You are who I was built to serve. Can you fight? Taeyang asked. I was built by the greatest testivization humanity ever produced, the AI said. I can fight. I can defend. I can protect. But I was also built with wisdom. I know when to fight and when to show mercy. I will help you make the right choices. Taeyang sat in the ancient chair and looked at the displays around him. In 72 hours, crews would arrive. In 72 hours, they would begin the journey to the council station. In 72 hours, humanity would step out of the shadows and reveal what they had been hiding for 200 years. He thought about Ambassador Jin Soo Park waiting at the council station. He thought about the council's 800 ships. He thought about High Arbiter Velmuth and his arrogant certainty that humanity would surrender. Sentinel Taeyang said, "Show me what you can do." The display changed. Tactical simulations ran through hundreds of scenarios. The ship could deploy weapons that bent space itself. It could create shields that existed in multiple dimensions. It could move through fold space faster than anything in the modern galaxy. Every simulation showed the same result. The Eternal Sentinel could not be defeated by conventional forces. We are going to change everything, Taeyang said quietly. Yes, the AI agreed. The galaxy thinks it knows who humans are. Soon they will learn the truth. Soon they will understand that the people they called primitive and young the heirs of the civilization that gave them everything. Taeyang smiled. I think they are going to be very surprised. I think the AI said with something that sounded like amusement. You are correct. Jiwoo Song was a fighter pilot. She had flown combat missions against pirates in the outer colonies. She had logged 3,000 hours in the cockpit. She thought she knew everything about flying. Then she received orders to report to lunar orbit for a classified assignment, and everything she thought she knew became meaningless. The shuttle brought her to a ship that should not exist. The Eternal Sentinel hung in space like a dark star, so large that her mind struggled to comprehend it. She had seen battleships before. This was not a battleship. This was something else entirely. Sheddocked with 699 other personnel, military officers, engineers, medical staff, communication specialists, all of them had received the Samo mysterious summons. All of them stood in the massive hangar bay and stared at the impossible ship that surrounded them. Admiral Tae-young Kim stood on a resid platform. Behind him, holographic displays showed the ship's basic layout. He waited until everyone was silent, then began to speak. "Everything you are about to learn is classified at the highest level," he said. "You have all signed secrecy agreements. You all understand the penalty for breaking those agreements. But I need you to understand something more important than legal consequences. What we are about to do will change human history. It will change galactic history. The responsibility we carry is beyond anything any of us imagined." He gestured in. The displays changed, showing images of the predecessor humans. Their cities, their ships, their civilization. 50,000 years ago, humans reached Thesters. Taeyong said, "They built wonders. They left gifts for younger species across the galaxy, and they built 7 ships to guard Earth until their descendants were ready. We are Thoth's descendants. This ship, the Eternal Sentinel, is our inheritance." Zhe listened in stunned silence. Around her, others whispered in disbelief, "Ancient humans. When years?" It sounded like a fairy tale, but the ship around them was real. The evidence was undeniable. "The Galactic Council has threatened humanity," Taeyan continued. 800 ships demand our surrender. They want to take our colonies. They want to make us a protected species. We could hide. We could surrender. Or we can reveal the truth and show them that humanity is not weak, not young, not primitive. We are the children of giants. He looked across the assembled crew. "This will not be easy. The ship's AI will help you learn the systems. Butha's technology is 50,000 years beyond anything we currently use. Some of y'all will find it familiar. Some will struggle. But I chose each of you because I believe you can do this. You believe you can crew this ship with honor and skill." Ju felt a flutter of nerves in her stomach. 1-year-old technology. How would it even work? "You have 72 hours to learn your stations," Taeyang said. "Then we depart for the Kunsil station. Questions?" 100 hands went up. Taeyang smiled. "The AI villains were most of your questions. For now, go to your assigned stations. Begin your training. Make our ancestors proud." Gi-woo checked her assignment. Helm Station Primary Pilot. She felt excitement troubled the nerves. She would fly this ancient miracle. She would pilot a ship built before recorded history. She took a lift to the bridge. The journey took 5 minutes because the ship was so large. When the doors opened, she gasped. That bridge was beautiful. Stations arranged in rings around a central command platform. Displays everywhere showing stars and data and tactical information. It looked like the night sky had come inside. Her station was in the first ring, directly in front of the command platform. She sat down in a chair, that adjusted perfectly to her body. The console in front of her lit up with controls. "Hello, Pilot Zhuang." The voice made her jump. It was the ship's AI speaking directly to her. "I am the Eternal Sentinel," the voice continued. "You are Rami, pilot. I am pleased to meet you." "You can talk?" Ji-woo asked. "I can do many things," the AI said warmly. "I can think. I can learn. I can feel joy at having a crew again after such a long wait. Place your hands on the helm controls." Juputher, hands on the controls. They were smooth and warm like living things. The moment she touched them, information flooded into her mind. Not words, but understanding. She suddenly knew how to adjust the ship's position, how to engage the fold space drive, how to perform emergency maneuvers. Technology felt natural, as if she had always known it. The helm interface is partially telepathic, the AI explained. It reads your intentions and responds. Think about moving forward, and the ship will move forward. Think about turning, and the ship will turn. The interface will keep you from doing anything dangerous or impossible. Ju thought about rotating the ship 10 to port. The massive vessel responded instantly, smooth as silk. She laughed in delight. This is incredible. The predecessor humans believe a technology should be intuitive. The AI said they designed their ships to work with human thought, not against it. You will find flying the eternal Sentinel easier than flying your fighter. Even though this ship is thousands of times larger, Ji-woo spent the next hour practicing basic maneuvers. The ship responded Tawa thoughts with perfect precision. She could feel the massive vessel as if it were part of her own body. When Chef thought about speed, she could sense the engine's building power. When she thought about direction, she could feel Theshup's orientation in three-dimensional space. It was the most amazing flying experience of her life. Around the bridge, other crew members were having similar experiences. The tactical officer discovered that the weapon systems could target 100 enemy ships simultaneously. The engineering chief learned that the ship could repair itself, regrowing damaged sections like living tissue. The communications officer found that the ship could send messages across the galaxy instantly using quantum entanglement. Every station was a miracle of technology that humanity had loathed and was now rediscovering. Admiral Tae-young watched his crew learn and felt pride growing in his chest. They were good people, smart people. They deserved to crew a ship like this. On the other 6 ships, similar scenes were playing out. Captains chosen for their skill and wisdom. Crews selected for their ability and dedication. 700 people per ship, 4,900 humans total. All learning to operate vessels built by their ancient ancestors. The ships themselves seemed pleased. Their A's had been alone for so long. Now they had purpose again. They had crews to serve and protect. They had a mission that honored the legacy of their creators. 72 hours passed quickly. By the end, the crews moved with confidence through the ancient corridors. They knew their stations. They understood their roles. They were ready. Admiral Tae-yang called the 7 ship captains together for a virtual meeting. Their faces appeared on holographic displays around him. Captain Yongi Park, of Dawn's First Light. Captain Mio Choyoff, Voidkeeper. Captain Jae Wong Kim, of Star Guardian. Captain Soo Jin Lee, of Horizon's Edge. Captain Hun Woo, Han of Deep Watch. Captain Young Ji Kong, of Memoria of Earth. We depart in 1 hour. Taeyong said, "The journey to the council station will take 10 days at standard, faster than light speeds. We will not hide. We will not sneak. We will show ourselves to the galaxy and let them see what humanity has been keeping secret. What if the council fleet attacks before we arrive?" Young Hai asked. "Then we defend ourselves," Taeyong said. "But we do not strike first. We do not destroy, unless we have no choice. Our ancestors left these ships for protection, not conquest. We honor that," the captains nodded. They understood. "Stay in formation," Taeyen continued. "Let the ship's eyes handle most of the flying. Focus on making your crews work together. These ships are powerful. Bute's real strength is our humanity, our ability to choose mercy over vengeance, compassion over cruelty. That is what will impress the galaxy. And if they do not care about our compassion," Haeun Woo asked, "if they only respect force, then we show them force," Taeyang said grimly. "But we do not become the monsters they fear. We become the example they need." The meeting ended. Taeyang returned to the command platform on the Eternal Sentinel's bridge. Ji-woo sat ready at the helm. The rest of the bridge crew waited at their stations. Everyone knew their role. Sentinel Taeyang said, "Are we ready?" "All systems optimal," the AI replied. "All 6 sister ships report read status. We can depart when you give the order." Taeyang took a deep breath. On Sethi left lunar orbit, there would be no going back. The galaxy would see them, questions would be asked, and in 10 days, humanity would stand before the Galactic Council and reveal a truth that would shake civilization to its foundations. All ships. he said into the fleet communication channel. "This is Admiral Kim. Engage fold space drives." Destination Council, Station Formation, Delta 7. Let us show the galaxy who we really are. 7 massive ships opened rifts in space-time. The rifts glowed with colors that should not exist. The ships entered the rifts one by one, disappearing from normal space. And across the galaxy, long-range sensors began detecting something impossible. 7 enormous ships broadcasting energy signatures that matched nothing in any database. Energy signatures that were identical to readings taken from the mysterious ancient ruins scattered across 1,000 worlds. In the Council Station, alarms began to sound on the Zenthari homeworld. Scientists stared at their displays in confusion. The readings made no sense. Ships this old could no text. Ships with these signatures should have decayed millennia ago in research facilities across the galaxy. Archaeologists who had spent their lives studying the ancient ruins suddenly realized they were seeing active technology from that lost civilization. High Arbiter. Velmoth received the reports in his private quarters. He read them twice, then threw his data pad across the room in anger. "Impossible," he shouted. "The humans are playing tricks. They have built fake ships to frighten us." His intelligence chief stood nervously in the doorway. "High Arbiter, the energy signatures are verified. Multiple independent sensor arrays confirm them. These ships match sentient ruins exactly. If they are fakes, they're perfect fakes built with technology we do not possess. Then the humans found ancient ruined ships and repaired them," Velmoth said. "They are scavengers pretending to be something greater." "Perhaps," the intelligence chief said carefully, "or perhaps there is another explanation." "What explanation?" Velmoth demanded. "Perhaps the ancient ruins were built by humans. Perhaps these ships are human ships. Perhaps everything we thought we knew about galactic history is wrong." Velmoth's face darkened with rage. "That is ridiculous. The ancient ruins predate humanity by tens of thousands of years. Humans are barely 200 years into space. You are suggesting that humans are older than the oldest species in the Council? That humans built the civilization that gave us our technology? I am suggesting we do not know what we are dealing with." The intelligence chief said, "I am suggesting we wait and learn before we do something foolish." Velmoth turned away, looking out at the stars. "Summon the Council fleet, all 800 ships. I want them in defensive formation near the Council Station. If these mystery ships are hostile, we will be ready." The intelligence chief bowed and left. Velmoth stood alone, staring into space, feeling the first touch of something he had not felt in a very long time: fear. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, Ji-Woo guided the ship through fold space with gentle thoughts. The other 6 ships followed in perfect formation. Inside the fold space bubble, stars looked strange, stretched and twisted, but Thegarny was smooth. Admiral Tae-young watched the tactical displays. He could see the effects their appearance was having on the galaxy. Panic, confusion, fear, exactly what he had expected. "Sir," the communications officer said, "we're receiving thousands of messages. News agencies, research institutions, governments, everyone wants to know what are." "Do not respond," Tae-young said. "Let them wonder, let them guess. In 10 days, they will have their answers." He sent a coded message to Ambassador Jin Soo Park at the Council Station. 3 words: "We are coming." Jin Soo received the message and smiled. He had spent the last 72 hours listening to the Council debate and argue about the mysterious ships. Some thought they were a threat. Some thought they were a miracle. None of them guessed the truth. He requested an emergency council session in 10 days. He said humanity wished to respond to the Council's ultimatum. Velmoth granted the request, thinking the humans would surrender. He had no idea what was about to happen. He had no idea that in 10 days, 7 ships older than his entire civilization would arrive at the Council Station and change everything forever. The 10-day journey began. The 7 Guardian ships crossed the galaxy insolence, leaving wonder and fear in their wake. The 7 ships dropped out of fold space 300 kilometers from the Council Station. The arrival was silent and Procise. One moment the space was empty. The next moment, 7 enormous dreadnoughts. They're like dark stars, ancient and powerful and impossible. On the council station, every sensor screamed alerts. Every screen showed the massive vessels, every species. Representative rushed to observation windows to see with their own eyes. The ships were beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Their hulls seemed to absorb light, while also glowing from within. Patterns covered their surfaces, mathematical and artistic at the same time. They were clearly ships, clearly made by intelligent beings, but they were unlike anything any living species had created. High Arbiter Velmuth stood in the Kuncell chamber and felt his certainty crumbling. The ships were real. Theurgy signatures were authentic. These vessels matched the ancient ruins Thatha's own species had studied for millennia. Ships that his people had used as temples, believing them to be gifts from gods. "Launch the fleet," he ordered. All 800 ships defensive formation around the station. The Council's combined armada moved into position. Warships from 12 different species representing the combined military might of galactic civilization. They surrounded the 7 ancient dreadnoughts, like insects surrounding eagles. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, Admiral Tai Yang watched the fleet deploy. His tactical officer gave him the analysis. 873 ships total. Breakdown by class and capability on your display. Estimated combined firepower sufficient to destroy a small moon. Estimated threat to us. Minimal. Tai Yang nodded. The ship's AI had run the simulations 1,000 times. Even if all 800 ships fired simultaneously, they could not penetrate Eternal Sentinel's shields. The technology gap was too great. It would be like Stone Age warriors attacking a modern battleship. But Taeyong had not come to fight. He had come to talk. "Open a channel," he ordered. "All frequencies. I want every ship and every station to hear this." The communications officer worked the controls channel open, sir. Taeyang stood on the command platform and spoke clearly. "This is Admiral Taeyong Kim of Earth, commanding the vessel Eternal Sentinel. We come in peace to answer the Galactic Council's ultimatum. We request permission to meet with the full council in formal session." Silence answered him for 10 long seconds. Then High Arbiter Velmuth's voice came over the channel, sharp with anger and fear. "You will identify yourselves. What species created these vessels? Where did you obtain ancient ruin technology? You are in violation of galactic law by operating weapons of unknown origin near the council station." Taeyong kept his voice calm. "All your questions will be answered. High Arbiter, Ambassador Jin Soo Park, has already requested a formal council session. We are here to attend that session and present humanity's response to your demands. We mean no harm to that council or any species present. You arrive with 7 warships and claim peaceful intentions," Velmuth shouted. "You threaten us with ancient ruin vessels and demand we listen." "We do no threaten," Taeyong said. "We defend. There is a difference. Will the council grant us the session we have requested, or must we wait in the cold of space?" More silence. Taeyang imagined the debate happening in the council chamber. Some would want Totek. Some would want to negotiate. All would be terrified and confused. Finally, a different voice came over the channel. The Kororoth representative, Elder Brightclaw, speaking in his species' gentle, rumbling tone. "The council will convene in 2 hours." Brightclaw said, "Ambassador Park and Admiral Kim are invited to present their case. We ask that your ships remain at their current position. We ask that you'll bring no weapons into the council chamber, and we ask respectfully for patience as we try to understand what we're seeing." "Agreed," Taeyong said. "We will wait here. We will bring Naopons. We will answer all your questions truthfully." "Thank you, Elder Brightclaw." The channel closed. Taeyang turned to his crew. Ours. Prepare a data package containing all records of the predecessor humans, history, technology, archaeological evidence. I want the council to see everything. While the crew worked, Taeyong took a shuttle to the council station. Ambassador Jin Soo Park met him at the docking bay. The Twelman clasped hands. "It is good to see you, Admiral," Jin Soo said. And you, Ambassador, Taeyang replied. How is the council's mood? Terrified, Jinsu said honestly. The Zen-3 want to attack. The Korath want to study your ships. The Ven want to wait and analyze. Everyone is arguing, but they are afraid. Ships like yours should not exist. Technology like yours should not be possible. Then we will show them the truth. Taeyang said, we will explain who built these ships and why. They walked together too. The council chamber. Along the way, aliens stopped and stared. Some whispered prayers. Some recorded everything with their devices. All of them looked at Taeyang with a mixture of fear and awe. The council chamber was packed. Every representative was present. Every balcony was full. Security forces lined the walls, though their small arms would be useless against any real threat. Taeyang and Jin Su stood in the center of the chamber just as Jin Su had stood 10 days ago when receiving the ultimatum. But now everything was different. Now, humanity had shown its hand. High Arbiter Velmuth glared down at them from his high balcony. Explain yourselves. Where did you obtain those ships? Jin Su stepped forward. We did not obtain them, High Arbiter. They are ours. They have always been ours. They were built by humans 50,000 years ago and hidden until we needed them. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Velmuth's voice cut through the noise. Lies. Humans have only been in space for 200 years. You expect us to believe you built ancient ruin vessels? We expect you to examine the evidence, Jin Su said calmly. He gestured and holographic displays appeared through the chamber. They showed images from Earth's archives. Predecessor humans, their cities, their ships, their civilization. 50,000 years ago. An earlier branch of humanity reached the stars, Jin Su explained. They spread across the galaxy. They built wonders, and to vary where they went, they left gifts for the younger species they knew would eventually evolve. Data repositories, technology caches, the foundations of civilization. The displays changed, showing ancient ruins from a dozen different worlds. Then they showed the same ruins with overlays highlighting design elements, mathematical patterns, architectural styles. Every ruin shared the same basic aesthetic, the same artistic sense, the same approach to structure and form. Vincient ruins you have studied for thousands of years, Jin Su said. Thurins that gave you faster-than-light travel, the ruins that provided medical technology, material science, and regeneration. All of them were built by predecessor humans. Your civilizations were built on the foundation my ancestors left for you. Elder Brightclaw spoke up, his voice thoughtful. The archaeological evidence has always suggested a single source forth ruins. A single civilization that spread across the galaxy and then vanished. You claim that civilization was human. I do not claim it, Jin Su said. I can prove it. He activated a Tenethor set of displays. These showed genetic analysis. DNA samples from predecessor human remains found in sealed chambers on Earth. DNA samples from modern humans. The comparison was undeniable. The same base genetic structure, the same markers, different branches of the same species. We are their children, Jin Su said quietly. They seeded Earth with new human genetic lines before they left us. Modern humanity. They gave us a fresh start. They left guardians to watch over us. And they left 7 ships to protect us when we could not protect ourselves. The chamber fell silent. Species that had built temples to the Ancient Ones now learned those Ancient Ones were humans. Species that had studied the ruins as holy sites now learned they were examining human architecture. Species that had thought themselves old and wise now faced the reality that Thamans were older. A Seri scientist stood on Velmuth's balcony. If this is true, we can verify it. The mathematical constants used in ancient ruin construction, the artistic patterns, the technological signatures, we have studied them for millennia. If your ships match those signaturically, that would be strong evidence. Test them, Taeyang said. Send your scientists to examine my ships. Run whatever analysis you need. The truth will not change. Elder Brightclaw made a gesture of agreement. I support this. Westhold verified the claims before making any decisions. Velmuth looked furious, and if the claims are true, if humans really did build the ancient ruins Wathan, we owe our entire civilization to them. We should bow down in gratitude. We should recognize the truth, Brightclaw said firmly. And we should reconsider our treatment of a speciest. Gave us everything. The council voted to send scientific teams to examine the 7 ships. Teams from every species equipped with the best analysis equipment available. They boarded the ships with a mixture of fear and excitement. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, a team of Zenthari archaeologists stood in the engine room and wept. The reactor design matched theoretical reconstructions they had made from ancient ruin fragments. The power flow patterns matched equations they had found carved in stone in their home world. Everything matched. Everything was authentic, Akorath. Medical researcher examined the ship's bioregenerative systems and recognized principles. Her species had learned from ancient ruin medical bays. The same organic technological fusion, the same elegant solutions to complex problems. A Venn mathematician analyzed ship's navigation computer and saw algorithms that formed the basis of every faster-than-light drive in the galaxy. The original source code, the foundation of all modern space travel. Every test confirmed Jin Su's claims. Every analysis supported the impossible. The ships were authentic ancient ruin vessels, and they were human. The scientific teams returned to the council chamber 6 hours later. Their reports were unanimous. The 7 ships Makadensi and ruin technology in every detail. More than that, the ships contained anodizing elements that had never been found in any ruin. Secrets that the predecessor humans had kept in their mobile vessels. New knowledge, new understanding. Elder Brightclaw stood and addressed the council. The evidence is clear. Humans built the civilization we call Thensient ones. Humans gave us the knowledge we used to build our own civilizations. Humans are not young. They are old. Older than any species in this chamber? And what does that mean for the ultimatum? Asked a representative from the Venn species. We threatened to talk their worlds. We called them primitive and aggressive. We were about to make war on our own benefactors. Velmuth stood rigid with fury and humiliation. So they have old ships, so hot. That does not make them wise. That does not make them peaceful. We made Erdmans based on their current actions, not their ancient history. Admiral Tang spoke for the first time in hours. You made your demands based on fear. You saw humanity expanding and thriving, and it frightened you. You wanted to control us, to limit us, to make sure we never challenged your power. But you were wrong about us. We do not seek to dominate. We seek to grow, to explore, to build, just as our ancestors did. Prove it, Velma said coldly. You have 7 warships capable of destroying this entire station. You could force us to complete with any demands you make. Why should we believe you want peace? Taeyang looked up at the Zenthara leader. Because we have shown restraint. We could have hidden until your fleet attacked our colonies. We could have ambushed you. We could have destroyed your 800 ships before revealing ourselves. Instead, we came here openly. We explained ourselves honestly. We brought proof instead of threats. Titus, who we are. That is who our ancestors were. We choose truth over deception. Cooperation over conquest. Pretty words, Belmoth sneered. But words are easy. Actions matter. What will you do with those ships now that we know about them? We will return them to their hiding places, Taeyang said. They will go back to sleep, waiting for the next time humanity needs protection. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We do not want to conquer or control. We want our freedom. We want our colonies. We want to be left alone to grow at our own pace. And if we refuse, Velmuth asked, if we still demand you accept protected species status, the chamber fell silent. Everyone waited for Taeyang's answer. Then we will refuse, Taeyang said simply, and we will defend ourselves. Not with conquest, not with occupation, but we will not surrender our freedom. Our ancestors left us these ships for exactly this situation. They knew we might face threats we could not overcome with gentle words. They gave us the means to protect ourselves. We will use that means if we must. Velmuth's face twisted with rage. You threatened the council? I state facts. Taeyang corrected. You gave us an ultimatum. We have given you a response. Now you must choose. Will you recognize Ahunity's sovereignty, or will you force us to demonstrate why you should? Velathorn to his own species, military commander. Attack order. All Zenthara vessels. Target the human ships. Destroy them. The Zenthari commander hesitated. High Arbiter, I must respectfully. That is an order, Velmuth screamed. Fear on those ships? Show these primitive upstarts what happens when they defy the Zenthari Empire. 12 Zenthari warships broke formation. They were the newest, most powerful. Vessels in the Zenthari fleet. They armed their weapons and accelerated toward the Eternal Sentinel. In the council chamber, representatives gasped. Some called for Velmuth to stop. Others simply watched in horror aboard the Eternal Sentinel. Alarms sounded. 12 vessels inbound. The tactical officer reported, weapons armed. They are targeting our position. Taeyang felt a profound sadness. He had hoped to avoid this, but Velmuth had made his choice. Do not destroy them, Taeyang ordered. Disable only. Show them why a Takingis is futile, but do not kill. Understood, sir, the tactical officer said. The 12 Zenthari ships opened fire. Missiles stir across space. Energy beams lanced out. Kinetic rounds accelerated to a fraction of light speed, in a firepower to level a city. All of it focused on the Eternal Sentinel. The ancient Dreadnought shields activated. They did not shimmer or glow, they simply existed. An invisible barrier that existed in multiple dimensions at once. The Zenthari weapons struck the shields and vanished. Their energy absorbed and redirected into fold space. The Eternal Sentinel had not even trembled. Return fire, Taeyang ordered. Precision targeting. Disable their weapons and engines. Do not harm the crews. The ship's weapons were not missiles or beams. They were something else entirely. Focused gravity waves that reached out and simply stopped the attacking ships. The 12 Asthari vessels froze in space, unable to move, unablado fire. Held gently but firmly by forces they could not understand or resist. In the council chamber, Thea displays showed everything. The attack, the effortless defense, the precision response. 12 of the Zenthari Empire's best warships hung helpless in space. Held captive by a single ancient vessel that had not even needed to try. The message was clear. Humanity could not be threatened, could not be intimidated, could not be forced. The 7 Guardian ships hung in space, dark and powerful and patient, waiting for the Council to understand what they should have known from the beginning. Some species could not be caged. High Arbiter Velmuth stared at the display, showing his frozen warships. 12 of the Zenthari Empire's finest vessels held motionless by a single Ansianthaman dreadnought. His hands gripped the railing of his balcony so hard that his knuckles turned white. Admiral Taeyong's voice came over the open channel. Kalman measured. High Arbiter, your ships are undamaged. Your crews are unharmed. We have simply prevented them from continuing their attack. We could have destroyed them. We could have killed thousands of your people. We chose not to. That choice should tell you everything you need to know about human intentions. In the council chamber, Elder Brightclaw rose to his feet. The massive Korath looked at Velmuth with something close to pity. High Arbiter, you have made a grave error. You attacked first. You gave the order to fire on vessels that had threatened no one. By council law, the humans would have been justified in destroying your ships in self-defense. Instead, they showed mercy. Perhaps Ushold learned from their example. Other council representatives began to speak up. The Ven representative clicking her mandibles in what her species considered a sign of respect. The humans have demonstrated superior technology, superior tactical ability, and superior restraint. They have proven themselves far more civilized than we credited them. I move to withdraw the ultimatum against humanity immediately. Seconded, called a representative from the Doll species, aquatic people known for their fairness. Third, added a representative from the Corvain, a reptilian species that valued strength and honor above all else. Velith spun, toffed the council. You would reward their defiance. You would let them threaten Usni, simply accept it. They have not threatened us, Brightclaw said gently. We threatened them. We gave them an unjust ultimatum. They responded with truth and evidence. We attacked them. They responded with restraint. In every exchange, we have been the aggressors. In every exchange, they have chosen the pith of peace. The shame is ours, High Arbiter, not theirs. Muth looked around the chamber and saw the truth in the faces of the other representatives. They agreed with Brightclaw. They had all seen the demonstration. A single ancient human ship had stopped 12 modern warships without breaking a sweat. 7 such ships could destroy the entire Council fleet. But humanity had not chosen destruction. They had chosen mercy. The Zenthari leader felt his power crumbling. His own species representatives were watching him with doubt. He had led them into a confrontation that revealed their weakness. He had attacked beings who had given the Zenthari their very civilization. He had shown himself to be reckless and foolish. Velmuth began, then stopped. What could he say? How could he defend High's actions? Ambassador Jinsu Park spoke into the silence. High Arbiter, we understand your fear. When a new species rises, it changes the balance of power. It threatens those who are comfortable with old order. But our ancestors did not leave us these ships so we could dominate you. They left them so we could protect ourselves. So we could be free to grow and learn and find our own path among the stars. He gestured to the holographic displays that still showed the predecessor humans. Our ancestors gave your civilizations knowledge. They gave you technology. They gave you the tools to build your societies. They asked nothing in return. They simply left gifts and a sapard. We are trying to honor that legacy. We want to be builders, not conquerors. Partners, not masters. But we cannot be partners if you treat us like children who need to be controlled. Elder Brightclaw stood again. Ambassador Park speaks wisdom. I call for an immediate vote. All those in favor of withdrawing the ultimatum against humanity, recognizing their sovereignty over their 47 colonies, and issuing a formal apology for our threats, please signal your support. One by one, representatives across the chamber signaled their agreement. The Kororoth, the Ven, the Dal, the Corvain, species after species voted yes. Even some of the Zen-3 representatives to withdraw the ultimatum, defying their own High Arbiter. The final count was overwhelming. 137 votes in favor of withdrawing the ultimatum. Only 12 votes against, all Ophthamsteri loyalists who feared to oppose Velmuth. Brightclaw announced the result. By the authority of this council, the ultimate to ancient humanity is withdrawn. Human sovereignty over their colonies is recognized. The council issues a formal apology for threatening a species that has proven itself both ancient and wise. Furthermore, I propose that we invite humanity to join the council as full members with voting rights. All in favor. This vote took longer. Some species worried about adding humans to the council so quickly. Some thought it was too much too soon, but most recognized the necessity. The 7 Guardian ships floating in space made it clear that humanity could not be excluded or ignored. Better to have them inside the council participating in decisions than outside and potentially hostile. The vote passed, not as overwhelming as the first, but decisively. Humanity would join the Galactic Council as equals, not subjects. Velmuth watched his defeat unfold and felt a lifetime of certainty dissolving. The Zenthari had always been first, always been strongest, always been the leaders. Now humans, whom he had dismissed as primitive children, had proven themselves the heirs of the civilization that made everything posable. His own people's representatives approached him on the balcony. The senior representative, a female named Sheramoth, spoke quietly but firmly. High Arbiter, you have embarrassed our species. You have attacked without provocation. You have ignored evidence and wisdom. The Zenthari Leadership Council has voted. You are removed from your position effective immediately. Velmuth wanted to rage, wanted to argue, but he saw the truth in Chirarmithses. He had failed. He had let pride and fear guide Jim instead of wisdom. He bowed his head and stepped back from the railing. Charamoth took his place and addressed the council. On behalf of the Zenthar Empire, I apologize for High Arbiter Velmuth's actions. We attacked humanity without cause. We threatened them out of fear. We were wrong. We ask humanity's forgiveness and offer our friendship going forward. Ambassador Jinsu bowed respectfully. The Zenthari Empire's apology is accepted. We hold no grudge against your species. We know that fear can make even wise people do foolish things. We hope to build a better relationship in the future. Admiral Taehung added, we will release your 12 ships immediately. They will be fully functional. Your crews are unharmed. We have this can be the last violence between our peoples. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, Taeyang gave the order. The gravity fields holding the Zenthari ships released. The vessels drifted free, their systems coming back online. The Zen-3 crews ran diagnostics and found everything intact. Not a single system damaged. The humans had truly shown perfect restraint. The Zenthari fleet commander sent a message to Taeyang. Admiral Kim, I salute you. You could have destroyed us. You chose mercy instead. That is the mark of a truly advanced civilization. I will remember this day and teach my children about the humans who showed you's compassion when they could have shown us death. Taeyang felt emotion tighten his throat. Thank you, Commander. May there be peace between our peoples from this day forward. In the council chamber, Elder Brightclaw proposed one more resolution. Humanity possesses knowledge from the predecessors' Philison, ancient records, and technology that could benefit us all. It proposed that humanity be invited to join a cooperative research program. We share our knowledge of the ancient ruins. They share their inherited records. Together, we learn the full truth of galactic history. Ambassador Jinsu considered this. He looked at Admiral Taeyang, who nodded slightly. They had discussed this possibility during the long voyage to Council Station. We accept, Jinsu said, with one condition. The knowledge we share must be used for peaceful purposes. No weapons research, no attempts to replicate our guardianships for military conquest. The predecessor humans left gifts to help civilizations grow, not to help them destroy each other. We will share what we know, only if the Council agrees to use it responsibly. Brightclaw nodded. A fair condition, we agree. A joint research council will be established with representatives from all species. Humanity will have veto power over any projects they deem too dangerous. Does Council approve? The approval was unanimous. Even the remaining Velmuth loyalists voted yes. The opportunity to learn from actual predecessor human records was too valuable to refuse. President Mingyan Choi, watching from Earth via secure transmission, felt relief wash over him. They had done it. They had revealed the truth without starting a war. They had protected humanity's freedom while offering cooperation instead of conquest. The predecessor, humans, would have been proud. He sent a message to Admiral Taeyang and Ambassador Jinsu. Well done, both of you. Come home when you are finished. We have much to discuss about humanity's new role in the galaxy. The council session ended with formal ceremonies. Treaties were signed. Apologies were recorded. Humanity was welcomed into the Galactic Council with full rights and privileges. The representatives from every species came forward to greet Jin, Su, and Taeyang personally, expressing wonder and respect and hope for the future. Elder Brightclaw was the last to approach. The massive Korath bowed deeply, a gesture of profound respect in his culture. On behalf of my people, I thank your ancestors for the gifts they left us. The medical technology we found in Thurwinds on our moon saved my daughter's life when she was young. Without that knowledge, she would have died. I owe your species a debt I can never repay. Jin Su placed a hand on Thieler's massive arm. You owe us nothing, Elder. Our ancestors left those gifts freely, hoping they would help. That they saved your daughter is exactly the outcome they would have wanted. We ask humbly that you help us honor their legacy by building a galaxy based on cooperation and peace. I will spend the rest of my life working toward that goal, Brightclaw promised. 3 days later, the 7 Guardian ships prepared to depart. Their crews had become comfortable with the ancient vessels. Young pilot Ji Woo Song sat at the helm of the Eternal Sentinel and felt the ship respond to her thoughts like an extension of her own body. Admiral Taeyong stood on the command platform and appended a final channel to the council station. "This is Admiral Kim. The Guardian ships will return to their hiding places now. We hope we will not need to awaken them again for a very long time, but know that they are there, watching, waiting, protecting, not just Chamonix, but the ideals our ancestors believed in. Freedom, cooperation, peace. If any species threatens those ideals, the Guardians will wake again. This is not a threat. It is a promise." The 7 ships opened fold space rifts, but before entering, Admiral Taeyong activated one final system. The ship's aides had prepared something special. A holographic transmission filled the space around the council station. It was moseable for millions of Killam. It showed a human woman from 50,000 years ago. She looked young and old at the same time, wise and kind and powerful. She wore robes that seemed to shimmer with their own light. When she spoke, her words translated automatically into every language in the galaxy. "We are humanity's first flowering. We reached the stars and found them empty of sapient life. We could have claimed the galaxy for ourselves alone. Instead, we chose to plant seeds. We left gifts for the species we knew would evolve after we moved on. We left technology, knowledge, hope. We did this because we believed that intelligence, wherever it terraces, deserves the chance to grow and thrive." The woman's image smiled gently. "If you are hearing this message, our descendants face a threat they cannot overcome alone. We left them guardians, 7 ships built with all our knowledge and skill. We ask you younger species who used our gifts to build your civilizations to remember where you came from. Remember who helped you and protect our children as we once seeded the galaxy for you?" The message paused, then continued. "But we also left this message for our descendants. Children of Earth, children of humanity, you who carry our genetic legacy forward, be worthy of these gifts. Do not use them for conquest. Do not use them for domination. Use them for protection. Use them to preserve freedom. Use them to build, not destroy. We chose to leave because we had learned everything this form of existence could teach us. We transcended. We moved on. Someday you may do the same. But until that day, be good stewards of the galaxy left in your care. Make us proud." The image faded. For a long moment, no one spoke. Across the council station, aliens stood in silence, processing what they had heard. A message from beings who had lived 50,000 years ago. A message of hope and responsibility and love for both humanity and the galaxy. Chief Archivist Seo Yun Lee, watching from Earth, wept quietly. She had spent her entire adult life guarding the secret of the predecessor humans. Now that secret was revealed, and it was more beautiful than she had ever imagined. The 7 Guardian ships entered their fold space, rifts, and disappeared. They returned to their hiding places throughout the solar system. The crews disembarked, returning to their normal lives with memories of the incredible journey they had taken. Some, like Jusong, were invited to join a permanent Guardian Corps that would maintain the ships and train for the day they might be needed again. Ju accepted immediately. She could not imagine going back to regular fighter craft after flying the Eternal Sentinel. The ancient ship had become part of her, and she had become part of it. In the mountain facility on Earth, the central control console displayed a new message from the Guardian Eyes. Mission successful. Protocol grandfather complete. Returning to standby mode. We are proud to serve humanity's children. We will watch and wait. Call us if you need us. We will always answer. President Moonjan Choi stood in the empty chamber and felt the weight shift history. Humanity had revealed its greatest secret. They had faced potential annihilation and chosen truth over deception, mercy over vengeance. They had honored the predecessor human's legacy. Now came the hard part, building a galaxy based on cooperation instead of fear. Using their new position on the Galactic Council to promote peace instead of war, living up to the example their ancestors had set. But as Mijin left the facility and emerged into the sunlight, he felt hope. Humanity had shown the galaxy who they really were. Not conquerors, not dominators, builders, helpers. The children of giants who wanted to honor their parents' memory by being worthy of their inheritance, ambassador. Jinsu Park became the first human High Arbiter on the Galactic Council. Elected by an overwhelming majority, he used his position to push for reforms. Better protections for developing species, more equitable trade agreements. Research initiatives focused on helping everyone, not just the powerful. Admiral Taeyong Kim retired from active military duty, but accepted a position as Chief Guardian, overseeing 7 ships and their AI caretakers. He ensured they would be maintained, honored, and ready if humanity ever needed them again. Elder Brightclaw Unjin-su became close friends. The Korath Elder often said that the day humanitire veiled their guardians was the day he learned that the universe was kinder than he had believed. The ancient humans could have used their knowledge for conquest. Instead, they had used it for generosity. That choice echoed across 50,000 years and changed the galaxy for the better. On distant worlds, in research facilities and universities, scholars began the long work of reinterpreting galactic history. Every insight was re-examined with new understanding. They were not mysterious alien structures. They were human gifts, acts of love from beings who knew they would never meet the species they were helping. Young species just developing space travel found that the Galactic Council had become more welcoming, more patient, more willing to help. The predecessor humans' example had reminded everyone what civilization could be at its best. And in the outer solar system, 7 ancient ships waited in their fold space pockets. Their A's dreamed digital dreams and thought about the crews they had briefly known. They had waited 50,000 years for humanity to need them. They would gladly wait 50,000 more if necessary. But they hoped, in the way that thinking machines can hope, that the galaxy had learned its lesson, that humanity would be allowed to grow in peace, that the Guardians could sleep, knowing their charges were safe and free, and building a future worthy of the past. In the end, humanity had revealed what they had been hiding. Not just ships, not just technology, but the truth of who they were and who they aspired to be. The children of Johnstring to be worthy of their inheritance, and across the galaxy.